So simple as anything, then? You're saying that if we act like we do normally, it wouldn't be a wise thing for us to ask you to do it?
I don't know if I want to answer.
Oh, you don't want to answer it. I just had to say it out loud. But the simple fact is, we don't want to put you in an awkward spot is really the answer. Thank you very much. We don't want to do that. That's what I wanted to know.
So it's going to cost not to do that is to hire an engineer.
That's the point.
Councilor Bonsteel was first thing.
Yeah, I think that is the goal here, just to see what the ramifications are. Okay, so this is supplemental information, right? We're not talking about changing the SRs. We're saying, what is the implication of this? Because it could be in 5 years that the landscape changes and you're unpolluted. Who knows, right? So I don't think it's fair to have staff, personally, I don't. I think to have it challenged, I think puts you in a precarious position. I think you've got third parties. All really what we're asking is, how much is it going to cost to have Stantec look at 1,800 homes and determine what the cubic meter flow requirements would be for those homes, correct? For zones 3 and 4, is that right?
Well, it's
As supplemental information.
as supplemental information, and we already have that. I think there's a couple of different things. If you're deciding to remove zones 3 and 4 from it, then we're going to have a certain flow number, and then at that point, we're going to have to decide on an appropriate growth number over 20 years. So looking at the Grand Bend area and outside, where potential growth is, the planner has that information. She and I have had some dialogue, and then deciding upon what is a rational growth number. So looking at our current flows, we have a certain number that we're committed, and then over 20 years, we need to build in a growth portion of that. So whether it's zones 3 and 4, whether it's other outlying areas in Grand Bend, we need to go forward and decide upon a number. Right now, I think our committed is 1309. So in addition to that 1309, what do we want over 20 years to grow?
But zones 3 and 4 would be a huge, significant growth on that, would it not?
Yes, it
would.
would.
Homes, of course. So I think you just go with you.
We're talking of a phased plan, and we're talking zone 3 and 4. Boom, in, out. There's phases in zone 3 and zone 4. We got the study on the ages of the septic systems that are over 30 years old and are should be replaced now with tertiary system according to this report. So the whole thing is that's a phase as well. So those are other aspects of it. It's not all of 3 in or all of 3 or 4 in or all of 3 or 4 out. There's phases in that as well. I think that's the numbers that we need to let staff deal with. And I think staff can deal with it. Councillor?
Well,
Sorry, Mark. Sorry, Councillor. You were next.
personally, I think that if we get an outside company, it doesn't matter if there's a third party looking at it, a fourth party, fifth party, whatever. Some people aren't going to like the numbers, some people are going to like the numbers. We have their capability within house. We have the capability, they know what's going on. Nobody is more up to date on it than they are. By now, they better be. And the deputy mayor is there as well. And I say do it in house. Get on with it.
Councillor Cook?
Well, I guess, when we came on council, previous engineer's report was challenged by everybody anyway, so we might as well hire another engineer because maybe the next council can challenge their report. So that way we can keep challenging engineers all the way up the line. I agree with Councilor Henry, but I don't see why we have to hire an engineer to do this other than unless Brent's afraid of his reputation for making a decision that's going to
Not qualified.
we're not trying to push it.
I don't want anybody to think that we're shying away and we're being afraid of this. By any means. I think it's just realizing the reality of the situation that it could be, the numbers will be challenged, and as staff we can stand behind them as long as council stands behind them as well.
Councillor?
We should stay in the Director of Community Services and our planner to work together to provide the information. I'm a little concerned with the motion. I would prefer to see the motion just state that we're seeking supplemental information to assist the working group, period, and leave it at that. And turn it back to staff to provide us with that information report, bring it back to us.
Deputy Mayor,
Yes, I think that since I got on council, I've been repeatedly told opposite direction, saying, well, the staff can take the heat, and I think that's unreasonable. I think we need to be cautious that we're putting undue pressure on them, because we know how controversial things are in this municipality. There's a lot of intensity, and who wants to be getting repeated emails from people that know your email address and inundating you with some unreasonable accusations that you twisted numbers, or you've overinflated them, and you don't have your population projections correct, you don't have your growth numbers correct, and this question's already been asked. So why not give them the shield of an engineer? And all I'm asking right now is that we just get quotations, numbers. I'm not asking that I would love to go ahead and hire them too, but let's get some cost numbers, get reasonable flow projections, and then protect staff at the same time. It really does make sense.
I don't think staff is the one that's right there on the line anyway. They're making a recommendation. We're the ones that have to vote on the recommendation. If we don't agree with it, we can always say no. We've done that many times in the past. So it's our butts that are on the line. The staff is the one that's taking the lead for decisions we made, we made the wrong decision. So that's what it comes down to. So they're not the ones that are making the decision. We're still the ones that are wearing the big boy pants up here and making that decision. It's our tough skin that has to take views from all the public out there. Regardless of what I can't see investing the money when we already have expertise back there. There's something hire these people. They're the ones that do our planning. They're the ones that come up with our strategic, when we go forward. We talk to our planner about everything. We talk to our community service director about it too. So I trust it. I can't see it.
Councilor Bonsteel.
I'd just like to ask, is staff comfortable with that? I mean, we've hired Dylan and spent millions of dollars with Dylan to protect our staff, which is, right? I mean, engineering is, as you well know, it's a huge field, isn't it? There's all kinds of different engineers. Is this your expertise? I don't know. So I'd like to know if you feel comfortable with providing those numbers, and we'll sign a waiver saying we won't hold you to it, and when the emails roll in, we'll...
Let's not go into that.
No, but I'm just saying, I would like to know the comfort level of staff on this. We have had a tendency and a tradition in this municipality of hiring outside. We have. We consult, so...
I guess here's the difference between when you'll get from staff, you'll get a number that's probably close to what an engineer will give you outside. When staff do it, you won't get a stamped document because we don't have liability insurance to cover our professional liability, so you won't get that. But you would get that from an outside consultant, so that does lend itself to some credibility.
Where's your answer?
Snapshot and projection. It's not a hard.
A very important suggestion.
Anyway, I'd like to have the motion read back.
Okay, so I can read that again. Actually, I do have copies of it here, and I'll just pass it around so that you can see again too.
Just the motion part.
Just the motion part? Okay, if you want to just read it, that's fine too. Does anyone want a copy?
No.
Okay. Okay. As a supplement to council's earlier motions, I make a motion that council directs staff to immediately request a quote from Stantec for the cost of determining what Lambton Shores flows will be in the first phase or 20-year design life of the proposed sewage treatment facility for lagoon upgrade without zone 3 or 4. If the costs are reasonable and if time allows, staff must assist Stantec to define flow numbers before the June 19th meeting. It's leaving open the possibility.
Councilor Underwood.
So we're gonna ask Stantec for a quote. I think, either we hire them or we don't, in my opinion. If you're gonna ask for a quote, they're gonna come back with a quote before they do the work. They're not gonna do the work before they get the go ahead to do it, right? So if you're asking for a quote to do this job, that's another week, and then they haven't even done anything.